Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're diving into Senator John Kennedy grilling Wells Fargo's top executive about a massive banking scandal. Over 3 million fake accounts, millions in fees, and serious damage to customers' credit. This is about trust, accountability, and the real cost of putting profits before people. I believe in the free enterprise system because it lifts people out of poverty, but what I can't wrap my head around is, what in God's name were you thinking? I'm not against big business, I'm against dumb. Prioritizing sales over customers, that's a recipe for disaster.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning,
Plum.
Senator.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Like you, I believe in the free enterprise system. I think the free enterprise system has lifted more people out of poverty than all the social programs put together. I'm certainly not anti-business, quite the contrary. We all on this panel talk about the importance of jobs. I don't see how you can be for jobs if you're against business. But what I'm curious about is what in God's name were you thinking? I'm not against large. I'm happy when businesses are successful. I'm not against big. With all due respect, I'm against dumb. I'm against a business practice which has Wells Fargo first and customer second. I think it ought to be customer first and Wells Fargo second. I think that's better for the customer and better long-term for Wells Fargo.
So I asked, when did this all start? They told me 2009. But the board's investigation found shady sales practices going back to 2002. That's over a decade of deceptive incentives and selling customers products they didn't ask for. At that point, it wasn't just a mistake, it was a culture. If you found this shocking, hit subscribe for more breakdowns like this every week. Wells Fargo admitted. Up to 3.5 million fake accounts. 190,000 customers were charged fees totaling $6 million. Wells Fargo says they refunded that money. But money alone doesn't fix the damage to credit scores and trust. If a bank can't track the real cost of a mistake this big, something's wrong.
When did this start?
Well, Senator, I completely agree with you. Wells Fargo cannot be a successful American institution. We can't employ 270,000 of what I think are the best team members unless we put our customers first. And there is no question that in our community bank, we had an incentive plan that put selling products first as opposed to customers first.
Nothing wrong with that if it's good for the customer. But when did it start? When did it all start? You've investigated back to 2009, I believe?
Senator, no, the board of directors, the independent board of directors, members of the board, looked back as far as 2002, and that's where they found, and I agree with them, that they saw instances of inappropriate sales activity under that plan. Senator, we should have ended that plan years ago. We made a mistake. There's no question about that. We have ended that plan. We've rolled out a new incentive plan, to your point. In our community bank, that incentive plan rewards good customer service. It rewards providing products in the right risk way.
And Ms. Sloan, I appreciate that, and I'm really not trying to be rude.
Sure.
We just have a 5-minute limit, and our chairman enforces it pretty strictly, as he should. Can you tell me this? What's the total number right now of fake accounts you found?
Senator, in our review going back nearly 8 years to 2009,
yes,
we found that because we couldn't call 165 million people, what we did is we used a very conservative set of data metrics to look at, and it was done by the independent party.
And what did you come up with in terms of
there were potentially up to 3.5 million potentially unauthorized accounts.
And that's back to 2009.
That's correct.
And did you go back further than that?
Senator, we couldn't go back much further than that, and the reason we picked 2009, and that's when Wells Fargo and Wachovia came together.
Right.
So as we went back further than that, the data starts to deteriorate.
How much money did you make off of those 3.5 million fake accounts?
Well, again, Senator, they were potentially unauthorized. There were some legitimate accounts in that number, but let's assume that they were all inappropriate.
Yes.
We found 190,000 accounts that we charged fees, and that was approximately $6 million in total, and we've refunded that.
They claimed they're fixing it. New incentive plans, settlements, working with credit bureaus. But here's the catch. They can't even access full credit reports without the customer's permission. So how are they making it right? A $442 million settlement sounds big, until you realize what was lost can't be measured just in dollars. Real trust, real people, real damage.
Okay. Was anybody's credit impacted?
Not for those deposit accounts, but for the potentially unauthorized credit card accounts, their credit could have been impacted, and we're in the process of working to correct that.
And you said you talked to the credit bureaus. Are they being cooperative?
Yes, they are.
You said they weren't giving you certain information?
Well, they can't, when we provide them information about customers, they can't provide us the detailed credit history without the customer's approval. So what they did is they gave us data without the customer name so we could determine.
I thought you could buy it from them.
Pardon me?
I thought you could.
We can't buy it from them, but and that's why it's very important, and an important part of the $442 million settlement, that, and that's really the linchpin of that entire settlement, is to make it right for their credit histories. And so that's how they're going to be able to get their credit histories fixed. In addition, if they come in to see us, of course, we'll go ahead and do that.
Sure.
Right.
Thank you, Mr. Sloan. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Senator Test.
This wasn't just another hearing, it was a wake-up call. Wells Fargo's actions were more than a breach of trust. They were a systemic failure with massive consequences. Leaders like Senator John Kennedy aren't letting them off the hook. Should executives face tougher consequences? Smash like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe for more truth.